Lessons from Behind My Chair is a podcast that aims to fill your cup with a fresh squeezed dose of clarity, courage, and bliss. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as rate the show 5 stars and review wherever you listen to podcasts. Now, let's get into the show.
Hey, love. Welcome back to another episode of Lessons from Behind My Chair. I'm your host, Angela B. Fuller, Master Hairstylist turned Certified Life Coach. Today, we have such a juicy topic lined up for you. We just came out of Thanksgiving, and I know there's a lot going on. I know you guys are out there shopping. I know you are trying to recuperate from a fantastic holiday. Some of us, it wasn't so good because it's filled with so many memories of those who are not with us. And I know what that feels like. So today, I'd like to talk about something that we all are trying to get better at, developing better habits, trying to do and be better than we were the day, the week, the month, the year before. But before I dive in, I do have a pop question for you. And that question is, how do you create a new habit? You know, every year around this time, we talk about how things are going to be different, how we're no longer going to do things that's not for our highest good. I know I do it all the time. And so I thought it would be a good idea to talk about habits, how to create new habits, and how to stay on track with that. Because, you know, I know for the most part, most of us want a better life. But many of us are unconsciously living the same day just from habitual living. So, how do we create a new habit or positive habits so that we can create a different life for ourselves? I think some of the things that we can do to develop a better habit so that we can have a better life is realize that change is needed. Realize that the habits that we are currently in is not working for us. And to take that bad habit and turn it into something more positive, but also realizing that it does take time. If we fail to plan, then we definitely plan to fail. And I think that's equally as important when we're trying to develop a new habit, that we have to plan to take action. We have to plan for something new. We just can't leave it to chance. We just can't speak that as what we want and expect it to happen. We've got to put more skin into the game. And when I think about how I've made changes in other areas of my life, I know that small, consistent daily action does make the difference in me getting better. And I think it's true for our habits. That small, consistent action backed with emotions, because that's the key in making something stick, is we've got to put emotion behind it. I think taking action, taking small, consistent action, and feeling very strongly about it will help to develop the habit. And then the next thing is just to repeat the positive or the new action until it becomes the norm for us. And like I said, we've got to be sure to put emotions behind it, because that lets our brain know that we are serious about it. And what that's going to do is knock out the bad habit, because when we put more skin in the game, we feel it on a different level. When we put more emotions behind it and we envision it in our minds, we visualize it in our minds as if it's actually happened, then the brain doesn't know the difference between what we're visualizing and what is real. And so that's a neat little way to trick our brain. when it comes to changing our habits for the better, visualizing the change first makes such a big difference. How many of you believe in the power of visualization? Because I believe that in order for us to see a thing, we've got to plant a picture of it in our mind. Once we plant that picture in our minds, day in and day out, it's like taking a photo. It's in our mind, it's in our thoughts. And then to visualize it and then to act on it with emotions, that helps it to become our reality. So I decided that starting now, before I move into 2023, that I am going to start making new habits for myself. New habits when it comes to my mindset, new habit when it comes to my attitude, to my belief, and to the things that I am committed to. New habits when it comes to my spirituality. My goal is to create a habit of meditation, also a habit of prayer, because it's what is needed to keep us grounded. I believe that we have to have some type of connection to something greater than our physical body, greater than our physical mind, in order to keep us grounded. And then, of course, if we are not physically healthy, if we're not exercising, if we're not eating properly, if we're not filling our bodies, nourishing our cells with healthy food, then we're not going to be the best that we can be. We're not going to be able to replace bad habits with good habits. I also think that when we look in the mirror, and we look at ourselves, taking care of our skin, it helps us to feel like a new person, which will ultimately help us to act differently, which will ultimately help us to feel differently. And when you're feeling, we're planting seeds of belief. And as we begin to believe a thing, we develop a new habit, a new way of seeing, and a new way of being. I also have committed to creating the habit of monitoring my emotions, not to be so high or allow myself to get so low. I call it being aware of my internal environment. And I think that if we pay more attention to it's like surveilling your own self. Pay more attention to how you are feeling internally. And if you need to go into some form of meditative state to help push you through, or you might want to consider reading something inspirational to help get you through. And another area I think we ought to look at in terms of habit is get into the habit of monitoring our finances, because that's the number one thing that knocks us off our box. When the money ain't right, we are not right, because this world operates on finances. That's a major part of why a lot of us have just thrown in the towels, because we feel stuck financially. We feel that we've dug ourselves in such a hole that we cannot pull ourselves out. It takes more than just one thing to help us to feel whole. And as we continue work with ourselves to feel whole, then we can become better human beings. We emanate a different level of energy. We exude a different level of vibration. And then we're able to take all the work we've done on ourselves, done on our mindset, all the work we've done on our spirituality, the work we've done on our physical health, our emotional health, our financial health, then we're in the position to share our story of how we overcome. And the power of transparency and the willingness to share with someone else who is going through and giving them hope that they can get through it as well, overcome it as well. It just allows us to come full circle as a living, breathing, positive human being. So I want you to really consider over the next 30 days, 40 days that we have left to focus on creating better habits. Pay attention to the negative habits, the negative thoughts that come into your mind, and find a way to reprogram that. It's not as hard as we think. It absolutely is not as hard as we think. And I believe that the transformation can take place in you. Give it some time. Give it 21 days of consistent awareness, of consistent feeding your brain what you want it to see. Continue with your visualizations. Continue with telling yourself that life is not as bad as it appears. And I can almost guarantee you over time, over a 21-day period, a 30-day period, or even a 60-day period, that you will begin to see the change that takes place in you. And how you know that change has happened, you'll begin to have a greater or an increased self-awareness. You'll also be more willing to take mindful risk, the type of risk that will help to move your life forward. You'll notice a different level or an increased level in your confidence. You know, you start to notice a different attitude within yourself, an attitude of gratitude instead of an attitude of complaining. I think you'll also have better sleep and better self-acceptance. And who doesn't want all that good stuff? So challenge yourself and let me know about the changes that you see in yourself, that you feel in yourself, that you recognize in yourself. Okay? I'll talk to you later. Actually, I'll be talking to you this Wednesday, because every Wednesday you'll get another dose of positivity to help get you through the week. So I look forward to our conversation. But in the meantime, stay positive. Know that I believe in you, because guess what? I know you got this. Okay? I'll talk to you later. Bye. Mwah.
Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to follow along on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, all at Angela B. Fuller, and join us every Sunday morning at 7 for new episodes. Okay? Bye.